So I'm back here with Steve, and one of these tires kept going flat, and it's just a hassle. And I had these 612s mounted up on some pretty cool rims with a two-tone paint job, and I thought they'd fit those ag tires up front, being similar. Also being smaller diameter, I don't really like the way that this is angled up. I've lifted it off the ground a little bit and for mowing in the field, and I get a pretty mean angle, so hoping to combat that a little bit. Also, I mentioned in the last video about Steve how the left side seemed higher than the right side, and I wasn't quite sure, and I thought maybe it was from the tensioner. All my tack welds came loose. See right there? So apparently I need to figure out exactly how I want this and weld it for good. So because those are broke, I think I'm going to cut those 3 welds and maybe put a little more forward angle on the whole system, so that way when it's up off the ground it's a little bit more level. So that's what I'm working on right now. So I put some 3-inch blocks underneath the bar to kind of simulate where I actually want to mow out in the field. Now you can kind of see the negative angle that I'm talking about. So I'd like to get that counterweight a little higher, and I don't think it's going to be that hard to cut those welds and move it a little bit. Remember, kids, safety first. You don't want to drill a hole in your hand. So I've cut my welds over here and popped them loose and put that counterweight up on a block. And if anything, maybe it might even be pointing down a little bit, but that's okay. And so now I've just used the grease zerks on the front axle as a reference point, and I'm square within a 1/16 of an inch from there to the end of the tips. So for what this is, that's plenty good. Next step is by moving that rear down or rear up, I've moved that pulley forward, so I will check the fitment of that belt and see if I have to move the whole thing back at all. So I've welded that mount a little more secure and also drilled another hole for that counterweight halfway between where I was and where it should be, just to try it out and see if I lose vibration or gain more.